If you're wondering if right now is the best time to sell, then you're going to want to watch this video as I uncover some of the things that you should be considering if you are looking at selling to see if it's the best time to sell for you. Normally, if you ask a realtor if right now is the best time to sell, the answer is always yes, and it doesn't matter how the market really is, it's always the best time to sell. So in this video, I'm not going to give you that answer. I'll just help explain some of the things that can help you decide if it's the best time to sell for you. If you stick around to the very end, I'm also going to list out some cons of selling in a crazy market, and we're getting into it right after this. Hey, what's going on? It's Brad Goetz with Right at Home Realty. I'm a local realtor here in the Greater Toronto area, and I cover off everything in this channel related to real estate and area related things, and to help uncover what it's actually like to eat, sleep, play, live, work, everything right here in the Greater Toronto area. I also cover off a lot of home buying tips and home selling tips. So if that's of interest to you, then you're going to want to subscribe and click that little notification bell. That way you're notified every single time I do post a new video or I go live. I do go live occasionally where it's a live question and answer. Sometimes I have guest speakers of realtors from different markets or mortgage brokers. So it's all these things that can really help educate anybody who's looking at buying or selling within the Greater Toronto area. I have people reaching out from all over the world who are looking to move here. I have people reaching out that are looking to move away from here, and I absolutely love it. So if you are looking at relocating or moving away from here to here, be sure to call. You can call, text, email, send the carrier pigeon, whatever is easiest for you, and I'm here to make your whole move and relocation go so much easier. I hope you enjoyed the video, and let's get right into it now. The first thing that you're going to want to consider is, what does the current market look like? So if you are in a seller's market, you are hovering around 6 months or less worth of inventory. If you are in a buyer's market, then you're going to have more than 6 months worth of inventory. So if no new listings were to hit the market as of right now, it would take, based on a balanced market of 6 months, it would take 6 months before all inventory is depleted. So look at the current market to see what are the inventory levels like right now. The lower they are as a seller, then the faster and the more money you're going to get for your house when you are going to sell it. Lots of inventory, it does take more time to sell, so you want to gauge that as well. If there's lots of inventory, you're not going to sell right away, but you just want to make sure that you understand that part of it. If there's no inventory, buyers are just flocking to whatever comes onto the market. It does not matter the condition or anything like that. Just last week I did a showing at a place. It was in Oshawa, and we walked through and all the floors were slanted. And then if you looked up onto the ceiling and the walls, there was cracks in the drywall. Like, it was just really weird the way it was. And we did a walk around the property to see if we could see anything that was looked out of the ordinary. And when we got to the one side, the foundation was kind of ballooning on it. So to us, and I'm no foundation specialist or anything like that, but to me that could be a pretty big concern where the foundation could actually just cave out. And I don't know if that would happen, but considering the home has been there for 50 years and there are these cracks in all the drywalls, all the floors were uneven, even in the basement. And then you go to the outside and you see something like that. And based on this current market, that same home had 17 offers on it. So I'm sure of it that, people had to have noticed these cracks. They were just so obvious, but because of the low amount of inventory that's on the market right now, they did not care. And 17 offers on the place. I don't know what the final sale price has been because this just happened. I'm very curious to see what it ended up selling for. The second thing that you're going to want to consider is, where will you be moving to? So if you are buying again, are you upsizing? Are you downsizing? Are you relocating? If you are relocating, what's the current market look like where you're looking to move to? Are you going to rent? And if you're going to rent, how's the rental market? Is it a lot of inventory out there, or are you going to be in a bidding war for rentals as well? I had a listing, it was in about last month, and it was in Newmarket. It was a rental. We listed at $2,200 per month, and within 24 hours on the market, we had over 20 showings, and I had over 30 reach outs from realtor.ca alone of people looking to rent it out. Within 24 hours, we had 5 offers on the place. 3 of the offers came in from people who had sold their house and they're looking to rent. So it just goes to show that there was no inventory out there, even on the rental side. So you just want to make sure that you fully understand what the current market is like so that you're not stuck regretting your decision to sell, because yeah, you might get a great price for it, but if you're buying in that same market or you're going to rent in that same market, it's going to be more expensive, or maybe more than you would have anticipated for it to be. You can compare the two markets to fully understand what you're getting yourself into. Things that you want to look at is average days on market. Based on November of 2020, days on market in the Greater Toronto Area sits at about 19. And the only reason it's even that high is because of offer holdbacks. So if somebody is listing on a Thursday, odds are they're not going to be reviewing offers until the following Tuesday or Wednesday, sometimes even longer. So when you have that, it does eat into the whole days on market average. You want to look at what the sale to list ratio as a percentage is. So based on November of 2020, the average was at 100.6%. Another thing that you're going to want to look at is the average house price. So for the Greater Toronto Area, going back to 2017, so as of November of 2017, the average house price was $761,000. The following year, it went up to $787,000, and that was in 2018. 2019, it jumped up even more. It went to $843,000. And then if you fast forward to November of 2020, it jumped way the heck up there to $955,000. So it's pretty big gain in that 1 year. And one thing to note too is the highest peak of 2017 was April. So that's when all of the sales had been recorded, and the average house price was $918,000. So it just goes to show that 3 years ago, the last peak that happened, we have surpassed that right now. So if you had bought then, you know, for the couple of years, you might have been in a spot where your house wasn't worth as much as what you paid for it, but it did jump up to past that right now. Who knows if COVID had an effect on that, or if it's just all this pent up demand from it, or if it's the low interest rates. There's so many things that could cause this, which jumps into the next point of interest rates. Are they, how are they? Going into 2021 right now, they're in the all-time low. Some of the people that are reaching out, they're showing interest rates in the 1.6%. If some of them, they work for banks and they're getting the like the bank rates or the employee discounts on mortgages, and they're getting under 1.5%. That is just insane, considering my first condo that I bought back, like 15 years ago. My mortgage rate through Scotia was 6.99%. So it just goes to show interest rates do play a major factor into how much people are willing to spend on homes. The third thing that you're going to want to consider is, do you have enough equity in your house to cover the expenses associated with selling your home? So how long have you been there? Currently, it may not matter, because if you purchased a home within 2018 to 2019, heck, even early 2020, you probably did pretty good, and you do have good equity that's built up pretty quickly. Just as an example of this, there was a townhouse in Brooklyn, which is North Whitby, and it was listed for $649,000. And within 2 days on market, it received like 5 or 6 bully offers. I might have been one of those, but the property ended up selling for $801,000. So that is about $151,000 more than what it was listed for. And the crazy part about this is, it was purchased in April of this year, so April 2020, and it was purchased for $600,000. So they made over $200,000 in the 8 months that they owned the home. And it was not a flip. They purchased in a very good condition, and they just, I don't know what happened, market or whatever, they decided to move, and they ended up selling for $201,000 more than what they paid for it. Just to go and show that, how long you've been in the home might not have mattered. It's more so of how much you paid for your home and then what it's worth right now. Some of the fees that you want to consider: if you are selling, you're going to have lawyer fees, realtor fees, movers that you're going to have to pay for. And then if you are rebuying, then you're going to have more lawyers fees, and then you're going to have a land transfer tax to deal with. The fourth thing that I will just touch quickly on, because I'm not an accountant, would be, will you have to pay capital gains fees on the property that you're selling? You're going to want to consult an accountant on that one to be 100% sure. But then also, if if you bought it brand new from the builder and you haven't lived there very long, are you going to be responsible for having to pay back the HST credit that the builder did receive? The fifth thing that you're going to want to consider is, do you want to buy or sell first? So this is just a quick one that it really comes down to the person and how you want to test your luck. If you are buying first, then you have to sell your home after and hope that it sells fast and the market's the same as when you purchased. And then if you sell first, you want to make sure that you're not overly picky looking for a needle in a haystack type of home, because then you might be stuck settling or not finding the exact perfect house that you're looking for because it just hasn't come onto the market yet. Just before we get into this last bonus point that most people don't consider, I just wanted to remind everybody to subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And if you're enjoying the video so far, hit that like button. It lets me know people are enjoying the content that I'm putting out there, and it motivates me to want to push out more information for people. So let's get into the point of, where people don't really consider the bad things that can happen with selling in a seller's market. And the first thing that people don't really consider is people not being able to close. And this does happen from time to time. I can't say it happens a ton of times, but it's happened enough where you see a house that has sold firm on offer day, and then about a month later, or sometimes shortly after when the closing date was, you see it being relisted as a DFT, which stands for deal fell through. So that just means that the people who purchased the home, they weren't able to close it. And then, so instead of the sellers just taking them to court and not being able to sell their home, sometimes they just sign a mutual release so that they can get the house back onto the market and then try and sell it again. Sometimes it does end up in the courts, and that's something that I've never had that happen with me, so I've been lucky on that sense. But it is something that I do see happen. And that's always a fear of people that are selling in a crazy time, because sometimes realtors are just pushing people into making these firm offers where maybe they shouldn't have because their financing hasn't been approved, or things change. That's another thing that kind of happens from time to time, where people purchase a home, their financing is good, but then a job loss, or you have big events that happen like COVID, where it's just like it really shook the whole real estate industry. So that's one thing that can happen. And then the second point is you might have trouble finding a new place. And that's just a point that I've never really had that happen, but it is something where it is something that I've heard of other people where it's like they sold their house first and then they had a hard time finding something to buy. But then I've had it vice versa, where they've sold their house or bought their house first and they had a hard time selling their home. So I don't know if there's a proper answer to that, but those are just 2 points that I wanted to throw out there for bonus information for you to consider when you are looking to sell your house. Well, that concludes the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to like it. It lets me know people are enjoying the content that I'm putting out there. But then it also has YouTube recognize that people are enjoying the videos and putting it in front of more people. So that does help me. I really appreciate it. If you forgot at the beginning, please subscribe to the channel and click that little bell. That way you're notified each and every time I do post new videos. These videos are all about helping people that are looking to move to or from the Greater Toronto Area. I've moved 5 times since 2012. I've sold my own house every single time. And then I've also moved to Oshawa from Brampton. And then I moved from Oshawa to Whitby. So I'm well versed with what it's like to move to a new city. So a lot of the things that people reach out to, I share information that they weren't even fully aware of. And I absolutely love it. So if you are looking at buying, selling, investing, all you have to do is call, text, email, send the carrier pigeon, whatever is easiest for you. And I'm here to make your whole move and relocation so much easier. Again, thanks for watching, and until next time.